taking off in 5, 4, 3, 2. Yo, it's your boy, T.O., as you know.
It's your boy, O Rain, real name, no games, no gimmicks.
Yo, it's the motherfucking Faith Podcast, the one-stop shop for everything TV, media, and film related, along with any of the goddamn thing we want to talk about. Coming to you live and direct. Everybody's in the building. We are all here. Avengers Assemble. Did I do that right?
That was
Avengers
a lot.
Assemble, right? That's what
Is it? Yeah, it's Avengers Assemble.
Okay. Yeah.
I thought you were coming with like a big reveal or announcement there. That was high energy. I was waiting for something else. Then you landed flat there. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Avengers Assemble. That doesn't work for you?
No, but there was no like big reveal afterwards.
What big reveal?
Exactly.
Why would you? Why would there be a big reveal? Avengers Assemble. We are all here. I feel like all of those things.
Yeah. Well, what do we do now? We're all here.
We do the goddamn podcast. What the fuck do you do? That is.
That's true. Well, then, yeah. You finish with that next time. So that's the big reveal.
All right. You've ruined it. It was good, and then you ruined it. Let's punch you in a little bit. As much as I don't want to see your face, I'm kidding. It's lovely to see your face.
I think so too.
Yeah. This guy. Yeah, man. Everybody's back in the building, man. I got my peoples here. Hey, Sergio's in freaking. Sergio's around the way. He's in DC.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
We could have had Sergio here too. But yeah, he told us.
No.
He didn't like us.
Rarely is there a good reason to travel from DC to Baltimore. Now,
everybody in Baltimore stood up right there at that moment. And said, "What?"
No, I think everyone knows that's true. I mean, and so regionally, right? Yeah. DC is like it's a pretty dope hub, right? It's people travel into DC. But if you're from Baltimore, you're like, go out this weekend, might go out for a night in DC, right? But if you live in DC, you're never like, let's go out tonight in Baltimore. No, it fucking never happens. Why would anyone do that? You're already where the shit is.
Just be careful going home. That's all. That's where I'm gonna leave that right there.
I'll be fine.
Yeah, just be careful. All right.
But no, that's true. I mean, if you're in DC,
some potholes you might wanna.
I think
avoid.
DC has like a better assortment and collection of like restaurants from different ethnicities and whatnot. It's a really great melting pot for anybody who's never been to DC. So if I'm in DC, I'm not like, let's go to a fucking. Let's go to that dirty bar in Pigtown for a night out. Like, no, sir. Let's go to 16th Street.
I think that might be just a remnant of when we were younger. I feel like when we were younger, that was probably a lot more applicable. But I feel like today, maybe not so much. DC's more in terms of they just got a lot of like higher end shit because it's DC. But Baltimore's got a little spice in it. You know what I mean? It's got a little. It's where you want to go when you're not trying to deal with all these bougie fucking people on Capitol Hill and shit.
See, I think that's the perception of DC, right?
What do you mean the perception? That is DC.
No, because like that's
it's a transplant city.
Most people like it's like that perception is that like everybody in DC is.
I've lived close to both my entire life.
Listen, hear me out though. The perception of DC is that everybody in DC works in government and everyone's a lobbyist or a fucking intern at the vice president's cabinet office. Like not everybody in DC works in politics or is even involved in politics or is like.
What's the next biggest employer in DC? What is the biggest employer?
Amazon.
Yeah, I know, right? What is the biggest employer? It's the fucking government. Like, what are you talking about?
But like, so there are a lot of government contractors, right? Not everyone works like in Congress or Senate or whatever.
Whether you're a fucking contractor or you work directly for the government.
If I'm a government contractor, I'm just like, I just do like a little bit of shit for them. But like, that's not like that. But they're not like the people that like you're.
It's like somebody at Lockheed Martin, like, I don't really work for the government. We just supply all the bombs. It's fine.
Sure, or you might just, I'm just a project manager. Listen,
that's it. That's what people said during the Trump presidency. They're like, I'm just a project manager.
You work for the Trump campaign?
I'm just a project manager.
I'm just an organizer. Like, you mean you organize the fucking rallies? Like,
I mean, but I just put it together. Who shows up? It's not my fault. All right, they just show up.
It's not Wonder Woman's DC. That's basically what I'm trying to say.
Dude, whatever, man. What I'm trying to say is that Baltimore. Because I was kind of on that same wavelength, right? Of like, if I want to actually do something fun, I go out to DC. But I think that over the last few years, I've really changed my tune in terms of I feel like way, way, way more comfortable in Baltimore than I do DC. I think Baltimore, it just feels like home versus DC. I feel a little bit.
Technically, it is home. Like, you live here.
But
so traveling to DC for you is like further, right? So what I'm talking about is like when I used to live in Columbia, right? And I'm kind of like that, like in between.
Yeah.
If I really want to go out and have a good time and have fun, like party, hit the clubs or whatever, like have like real good fun, DC for sure.
Why is that though?
Because it's better.
Better
like
in terms of what? What does that mean?
Nightlife, I think, like socializing.
When you were younger, though, where was the place to go in order to really go out and feel like, oh shit, like I'm doing something? It was DC, right? We'd go out to Love, whatever.
No. When I was younger,
all right.
When I was younger, it was Baltimore because you didn't have DC cost a little bit more. So when I was younger,
I was with you when you were younger, Rain. These are all lies. What the fuck are you talking about?
When I was younger,
we all went to DC all the time.
When I was younger, it was like Hammerjacks. It was like
no, that
Iguana.
That was what you wanted to go if you just wanted to get wetted up a little bit. But it's not where you wanted to go if you're like trying to get spiffy. You trying to go out, have like act like you're doing something. No, it was clearly DC.
Bro, listen, it was for me. It was like live.
You went to Hammerjacks when you really wanted to go out and step out.
When I was younger, yes.
Crazy,
and then I was like, you know what?
Shut the fuck up.
I was like, you know what?
Yo, anybody from Baltimore, Columbia, or DC, please, in the comment section, slide him all that you can. Please slander him because he's talking nonsense. I'm right. How does he know you're right? First of all,
Addy knows.
Addy doesn't even go out. So
Addy, you should change your Instagram username to like Addy knows.
That's a little fucked up because I was a mainstay at Club One.
Club what?
For like the longest time.
Wasn't that gay club?
Nah. What are you talking about?
So what if it was?
So what if it was? Who cares?
I was
a mainstay there, but dude,
test.
Hammerjack was a shit.
Hammerjacks was the shit.
I think I was like 13, and they would let me in.
You remember Iguana?
Yeah.
And then you got, what is the casino, the live casino area? They had
but that's
Mosaic.
Newer. Yeah.
That's where I went when I was like young, and then like I got a little bit older. And I'm like, let me start heading out to DC. I was like, oh shit.
So you didn't fuck with the newer Bourbon Street and all those places that came after Hammerjacks?
No. Yeah. By that time,
you're going down to DC.
You see how he's proving my point for me, right? DC was the place you go when you want to act a little bit more stuffier. When you want to smell your shit just a little bit more. You go to DC. When you want to just chill, have a nice chill night. Go to Baltimore.
There's another reason, but I won't get into that right
now. You got outstanding warrants?
This is being recorded. This is being recorded, so
yeah, let's get into it. People have heard us argue about fucking DC and Baltimore enough. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fucking Fade podcast. We're talking about all things movies and shit. Look, let's get into this week, next week. This week we've got coming out Eternals, which, damn man, the reviews have not been kind.
No,
at all.
They say it's it is a Rotten Tomato. Apparently.
Yeah. I go out of my way not to listen to reviews or watch any sort of reviews, but even just the headlines I see, like, this shit sucks. Try again. I'm just seeing some nasty headlines when it comes to Eternals. There's just no way it can be that bad. I think people had. I think this is going to be a different type of Marvel movie, and I don't think people are ready.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's what they said about this film. Like, who's the director's name? Chloe Zhao.
Yeah.
So when she was brought onto the project, and a lot of the things that she's reiterated about the project is like, this is not going to be like many of the other Marvel films you've seen. This is not going to be another Captain America and the Winter Soldier. This is not going to be another Endgame. This is going to be a story told from a different lens with a different tone. And I think a lot of people are not either ready for that, and some people may just straight up not be interested in that, and it's fine. But like, what I don't like is when people are quick to like bash a film or like an album or anything that's new that comes out just because they're not either ready for it or is there not their taste. Like, you know, I could be like, hey, that's a good movie. Wasn't for me. I didn't particularly like it, but like, you know, it was still a good body of work.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is that the critics didn't like this movie. I don't know necessarily. Obviously, the movie hasn't come out nationwide yet. It comes out this Friday, or I guess maybe Thursday, tomorrow. So, you know, who knows what the audience actually thinks of it, or will think of it. But the critics have been mean to it, which tells me that this sort of like this, what do you call it? This sort of indie film feel that I'm sure Chloe Zhao brought to it, because she was, you know, she's done a lot of smaller projects, at least a lot smaller in comparison to the Eternals. Maybe they just didn't, even the critics didn't like that sensibility, which is interesting because I would assume that you just would, because, you know, it's a much more, nuanced, or in theory, it would be a much more nuanced and, more intimate movie than, you know, we're used to with a Marvel movie. So it's really interesting that the critics didn't like it. With that being said, fuck the critics. I don't give a fuck. I'll watch the movie and I'll make my own goddamn decision.
I'll give one fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate people's opinions and reviews. I mean, we're doing a podcast, we're giving our opinions and we're giving our reviews, and I appreciate it. I'll listen to it. Yeah. But rarely do I ever make my decision based off of that review.
Yeah, right? you definitely have to not do that because if you do, then essentially you're missing a lot of great opportunities, because people will bash it for no good fucking reason. Sometimes it's because just everybody else is saying it's bad, so and it's so much easier to write a bad review than it is a good review, right? Because bad reviews are interesting in that, like, oh shit, they slandered it this type of way, or they said this clever thing or whatever.
Most people leave negative reviews, right? Because like, if you don't like something, you want to go and bash it. You want to go and tell people that, hey, I didn't like it, I didn't have a good experience there. But a lot of the times, if you do have a good experience, you don't run to go and leave a review. There's so many restaurants that I've been to that have made great food and I haven't left a review. But then there's like the one or two that I had a terrible experience, and I just like, you know what, I gotta leave this review because this thing rubbed me the wrong way. But I didn't for the other 1,000 good experiences I had. So I don't weigh negative reviews heavily.
Nonetheless, I'm gonna go see it.
Are you gonna go see it on opening night?
I might be tied up opening night, not gonna lie. But I think maybe sometime in the next week or so, I'm gonna see it before next Wednesday. I think.
I think my goal is to try and see it Saturday, but like earlier in the day, like definitely before 6-7 o'clock, when you start to get that like younger crowd, because that's when last week, and I told you the story last week, I went to go see Antlers in theaters. That's when I had the situation where those fucking kids were talking in the movie theater, and I had to like flex on them a little bit. That's what, because we went Saturday night, we went a little bit late. I think we caught like the 7:30 showing or whatever. I'm like, there are too many young people here, I need to go at like
what
3
if there
o'clock.
was that one young person who, you know, clearly takes steroids and plays linebacker, you know, for their local high school team, and he just stands up and is like, what'd you say to me?
That's why I was keep the knife on my hip. 3 to the kidney. Doesn't matter what sport you play, you're going down. A lot of internal bleeding.
He's prepared. He's got a little flak jacket on. You know, he's ready for the knife fight.
No, listen. Even a bulletproof vest, it really doesn't protect the kidneys. You're coming in from the side. You twist a knife. Listen, I've seen every Rambo movie.
Christ.
That wound will not close. That is a lot of internal hemorrhaging.
So anyways, so Eternals comes out this week. The Harder They Fall, which actually I was just watching earlier. I don't think it's not that I don't think, I definitely didn't finish it. I actually really liked it. I don't usually care for like Westerns, but I fucks with this one. It was pretty standard in terms of the way it sort of flowed, but you know, it was cool. I liked it.
What was the last good Western you saw?
Dude, I don't even fucking, I go out of my way not to watch Westerns. So like any Clint Eastwood movie, and I know that there's a lot of movies that actually, you know, kind of take after the Western genre without being sort of the aesthetic being a Western, right? You got a lot of space Westerns, right? Like, so for instance, like the Guardians of the Galaxy, I guess technically that might be able to be considered kind of a sort of Western-esque in sort of how it's constructed. And I'm sure there's somebody out there like, no, you fucking idiot, that's not what that is. I'm like, all right, that's cool. But yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you my favorite because I just naturally don't like them.
Would you consider Desperados a Western?
It's been a while since I've seen Desperado. I don't even know what the fuck it's about. It's set in a Western type of atmosphere. I don't know if the story necessarily would
Southwest, Mexico, I guess, right? It was in Mexico.
Sure, yeah.
Desperados, yeah. You know, do you remember that other movie with, I think it was like Gene Hackman had a young Leonardo DiCaprio. They were out in the West, and like Gene Hackman was like the sheriff of the town, and like I think Leonardo DiCaprio was his son, and like every day around noon they would have like a gunfight.
No, I don't remember this.
Oh, come on. It was was it The Quick and the Dead? Yeah, it might be The Quick and the Dead. Probably my favorite Western movie. But I don't go as far back as like Clint Eastwood's like fucking 1832
7. I think that was one of the more recent Westerns that it's essentially a remake, obviously. The Magnificent Seven with Denzel, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't really care for Westerns. But maybe that might change. You know, I've been revisiting a lot of shit lately, and finding that some of it's a lot. You know, some of it's pleasurable, and then some of it's that can probably stay in the past. But I tell you what, I did watch a movie last night that that I was like, yo, highly underrated movie from the 90s that nobody fucking talks about. Highly underrated. I'll give you a wild guess. And let me preface this.
Yeah, give me.
It stars one of the sort of the quintessential 90s action heroes and a comedian, or
Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans and the fucking wait let me get the movie. Let me get the movie.
Can I get a
come on. The Last Boy Scout.
Can I get a there it is. Damn, how'd you get that? What the fuck?
Bro, listen, I know my shit. That's why we're doing a podcast about it.
How the fuck did you pull that up?
Fucking classic.
Yo, The Last Boy Scout. Classic fucking action movie, dude. Classic, dude. And it's, you know, the story is somewhat engaging, but it really is just the chemistry between Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans that really draws you to the movie, and it's really constructed I fairly well, I think, but it's just something about it that just has that mystique of just like, even going back and watching it now, I just appreciate it so much, like the back and forth between them. Like one of the best lines that I've ever heard in a movie, and I remember it ever since I was a kid, was, you know, so they're talking and he's like, oh, you got those leather jeans, or you got those leather pants. And he was like asking, like, oh, well, you know, how much were they? He's like, $600. He's like, $600? I mean, do they come with like a TV or something? Like, that shit always cracks me up every time I hear.
Great 90s joke.
Great 90s joke.
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
Someone now who's not seen the movie might hear that line and think like, that's not very funny.
No, it was.
But
classic.
in 1993,
that
shit hit.
Shit slapped. But yeah, The Last Boy Scout, man. Love that fucking movie.
I have it on my to watch list. It was trending on Netflix.
Oh, was it trending? Yeah. Oh, is that why you remembered it?
Yeah, so like as soon as you like started to frame it up like that, I knew exactly what it was.
I gave you too much. I should have made it a little harder for you.
No, listen, you didn't give me too much. I knew before you even started.
Read my mind. You have that ESPN. So I also started Yu Yu Hakusho.
Spirit Detective, Yu Yu Hakusho.
I'm not gonna lie.
Best opening theme song in anime history.
You're drunk right now.
Who's got a better opening theme song?
Cowboy. What the fuck
Cowboy
are we
Bebop?
talking about? Yeah, what the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah. You know what? I still gotta give it to Yu.
5, 4, 3, or is it 3, 2, 1? Let's jam.
Yeah.
That shit rocks, dude.
I still gotta give it to Yu.
You're crazy. That shit sounds like I'm watching like Sailor Moon or some shit.
So are you watching the dub or the sub?
Dub.
Dub?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have time to sit here and read subtitles.
Yeah, fuck that.
I'm working as I'm sort of watching. I don't have time for subtitles. I'll miss like fucking the entire show.
Yeah,
if I do subtitles. So it's okay. I'm not gonna lie. I'm getting the feeling it might be more of a nostalgia thing for you here. I don't know because I don't like it better than Bebop so far. I like Bebop like right off the bat. It's taking me a second to really get into it.
Because this Hakusho is I think Yu Yu Hakusho is there really is a lot of like emotion. Was that not a stool?
That is not a stool. It's a table.
Oh shit!
Well, it's okay. I'll fix it later. Don't worry about it. Is your foot okay?
Yeah, no, my foot's fine. I thought it was a stool. You put it there.
I didn't even put it there on purpose. I just was like holding it there, but you took advantage of it nonetheless, and this is the result. It's fine.
I thought you put it there for my foot. I was like, thanks, but
I was not that thoughtful. No.
So for anyone who is like listening to the podcast and not watching, I just broke a small table.
Yeah, fair enough.
So Yu Yu Hakusho, it is a little bit slower. And I think it is because this particular anime is very much about story, right? There's a lot of story here. There's a lot of character development. There's a lot of emotion. There's a lot. I mean, the action, trust me, when you get it, you're going to be like, yo, this shit is insane. Yeah. But I think this story really focuses on like the relationship between characters, less, we're on like a, we're bandits and we're on a heist and we're out here doing all this crazy stuff and there are fights every like couple of minutes. Every episode there's a big shooting or shootout or stuff like that. You're not really gonna get that in Yu, but like the story is insane.
It's not even that. That's it's that. It's that I kind of see how when you were younger, like this would have been the shit because like your protagonist starts off being an asshole, like a definitive asshole, right? Yeah. And I can see how you specifically would be like, oh, this guy's saying a lot of things that I like. So it's like I can definitely see how younger Orain would definitely be into this. Older me is like, I mean, it's cool. Well, we'll see. Let's see where it's going. If it pays off, great. If it doesn't, I've wasted my time.
I think you're going to. And here's what's so great about the story is like you get a young Yusuke Urameshi and he is like, this high school punk, right? And you see him evolve into what becomes like very much this like, this adult that has gone through this evolution and you see like so much growth in a character. Like he kind of reminds me of, they don't have the same character, but he kind of reminds me of the guy from Game of Thrones, Theon.
Oh, Greyjoy.
Yeah. Where you see you like them in the beginning, oh they're cool, and then you hate them a little bit, and then you love him again because he's gone through like so much range of growth. Yeah. And at the end of the story, you're just like, damn, that shit was complete.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to give it I'm definitely going to let it run its course. I'm not going to I'm not going to give up on it too early.
Do not.
Yeah, for sure. But I started that this week. What else am I getting into this week? Yeah, I think that's about it for me this week. I don't think I dove into anything else. Should I talk about it? Should I spend time to talk about my experience? Should we take some time to talk about it?
Did you tell me the story already?
Yeah, I told you and Addie at the same time.
Yes, let's hear it.
Should I? Yeah. All right. So let me set the scene, okay? It's about 11:30 at night, right? I'm chilling, I just got done submitting this grant that I'm looking for. I'm working on a short film right now, and I submitted a proposal for a grant for it, and it's taken me like, a while to put this thing together, and I was kind of nervous that I wouldn't be able to finish it in time. But then I finished it up in time, got everything submitted. Boom, feeling great, feeling the fucking elation, right?
I feel like you deserve a reward.
Yeah, you're feeling good about yourself. You're like, I work hard, let me treat myself. So it just so happened that I had gotten a very special present from a very good friend, one of who is sitting in this very room with us.
Damn, you just indicted him.
Yeah. Judge is like, we got him on tape.
Got him on the RICO.
And so I decide to partake in this special gift that this friend has given me, and so I popped this gift. It's a little bit of a gummy, and so, but the thing is, the gummy here the dosage was way higher than what I was used to.
Blue magic.
Before. Yeah, it was essentially blue magic.
I was when you were like, oh, I got it from someone in this room, I was thinking Addie's gonna walk outside and Russell Crowe's gonna be right there. Gotcha,
see
Frank.
Addy in the white shirt. Yeah. He's like, I'm not telling you a goddamn thing, and I tells him everything. And so the dosage is way higher on this particular gummy than I'm used to, and I didn't really think about it. I just was like, fuck it. It can't be that crazier, right? Oh man, so my journey began. And here's a fair warning. I didn't really do anything crazy. It's just I felt crazy. And that was like the first time that I ever experienced anything like this. So for a lot of people out there, I'm sure they've done and said a lot of crazier things than I both did and said when they perhaps take more than than they were used to. But this was just my first experience, like kind of period experiencing this thing. And so pop it in, and I'm watching not The Last Boy Scout. I'm watching what the fuck did I watch? I watched not Lionheart. What the fuck? It was Time Cop. I watched Time Cop with Jean-Claude Van Damme. I had started it at some point in time, and I was going to end it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to fucking end Time Cop. Cool. So, and Time Cop ends, still feeling good. So I'm hitting the onset of, oh, okay, I'm feeling decent here. And then all of a sudden things start getting weird.
Now, question though, were you drinking with it? Did you have a beer?
No, nothing.
Okay, gotcha. So you were on the one substance.
I was on the one substance, and to be fair to myself, I hadn't really eaten anything all day.
Bad idea. What?
Bad idea. Terrible idea, right?
Well, you said it's the best time to take it?
You're crazy. You're fucking crazy.
I gotta have 100%. Something in my stomach. Not
Take
much though, because you don't want to go to Chipotle and get a fucking burrito with double meat, and then it's a lot. That's a lot. But have something light. Get something in your stomach.
It said double meat. But what am I looking at? The barbacoa and chicken?
Barbacoa with the mix, the barbacoa and the steak.
Oh no! That'll fuck you.
Extra guac. Yeah.
No. That'll send you to some other emergencies. All right. So I start noticing things are weird when when the TV's on, and I'm watching whatever at that point, maybe Sports Center or some shit, and I start hearing static from the TV, but I know the TV's fine, so I'm like, oh no, okay, this is new, and so I'm feeling all right, and then I'm like, you know what, maybe I should just go to sleep. Maybe I should just go ahead and sleep it off, and then see how I feel tomorrow, right? So I go upstairs, and I remember walking up the stairs, but then I don't remember what the fuck happened after that. So I walk up the stairs, walk into the bedroom, walk out of the bedroom into the office, find myself in the office, and what the fuck am I doing here? and so what I was thinking, I think, is I usually take my hoodie off and I usually put it in the office because that's where our closets are. And then that's when it fucking hits me that, oh no. And then I just start seeing all sorts of just weird shit. And I'm like, oh no, I don't know what the fuck this is. I've never experienced anything like this. And so I go into the bedroom and I wake up my significant other and I'm like, look, here's the thing. So I popped one of these here gummies in, but I took the whole thing. And I need your help right now. And so for the rest of the night, I proceed to lay in bed, afraid to get out of the bed because I'm afraid of what's downstairs. And so I really wanted to get some water, but I was like, that feels intimidating to go downstairs. So what my significant other does is just tells me, hey, it's all gonna be okay. You're all right. You're in the bed. You got the dogs. The dogs are here. You're fine. She's like, you know what? Let's pop on The Office. Something familiar will help center you. And it did, right? Because every time my mind would start wandering into some fucking crazy, I started questioning my own existence. Like, am I actually here? And where am I somewhere? And it just got weird. And then I would see Jim and Pam and be like, oh no, I'm in the room. The dogs are here. She's here. I'm watching The Office. And then every few minutes I would have to keep recycling that same thought, and it's the only thing that helped me basically survive the night, because I probably would.
When did you eventually fall asleep?
5-6 a.m.
Damn.
Yeah, I was up for a while, dude. I was up for a fucking while, dude.
When did you wake up the next morning?
Maybe 10.
Okay, so you just got a few hours of sleep, not much.
Yeah,
how did you feel then? Was it still
No, I was still buzzing, but not quite as much. But I was still
like you were functional.
I was functional, but coming down a little bit. You know what I mean? I was functional, but still like, is that cup a cup? I don't know. Let's test this out real quick. You know, like it was still fucking. It wasn't until today really that I felt like myself, where I felt back to normal. Never doing that again, dude. I say all that to say I know my fucking limits now.
Okay. And what was the milligrams? Do you remember?
25.
Okay.
So I jumped from 10, which is what I was kind of used to taking, to 25. And that was a significant jump for me. Significant. Like I can't even describe. Dude, I was questioning my existence with this 15 milligram uppage. I was literally like, is my whole life like I thought I was in the Matrix.
That's it's crazy
happened.
Because like we've had gummies before. You remember?
Yeah. It didn't feel shit.
Yeah, those were, if I remember correctly, I think those were like 15 or 20.
No, dude, I don't even think I got. I didn't even. Maybe they were really old or some shit.
No, they were new. They were packaged weren't even open.
I didn't feel anything that night. That's why I had this like non-fear of gummies. I was just like,
yeah. Which is why when you told me the story, I was like, I was curious as like what it was and how much dosage.
I don't know if somebody ripped you off or something, but I didn't feel
no, because like when we were on, I didn't really like, because for me that was a low dosage.
Yeah.
So like when we were taking it, I think I like took like 2 or 3, and I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna feel like nice.
Did you felt it?
Yeah, I felt nice, but very functional. Like you wouldn't really be able to tell. Like you just think like, oh, Rain's just joking and laughing and whatnot. Like I usually am, but I just felt.
I was
nice.
there, yes.
Yeah. So, but like some of the higher stuff, like the stuff you took, I'm definitely gonna try that because, I want to feel nicer.
Fam, I don't know if you do, dude.
No, listen,
dangerous territories here.
I'm gonna go for. I'm experimental with like weed and gummies and whatnot, and I've done shrooms. I've popped a Molly. I haven't done like ecstasy or anything like that. I haven't done any of the hard stuff. But yeah, listen. I'm gonna give it a try, and on the next episode we'll see. I'll report back.
All right. But this does remind me of like some of those movies where you just see people just getting high as fuck like all the fucking time, and I wonder, is that what they're searching for? Because if it is, why? Why is this the feeling that you're chasing? Like this is terrible. Like what I was so afraid that it was like my whole fear was based in it was never going to end. Like this is just my life now.
Which is crazy that like our minds, as like intelligent as we are, as like reasonable as we are, saying, all right, I took a drug, like, I'm high right now, this thing's gonna end, it's not gonna be forever. Like when you're actually on the thing, you're just like, yo, this is gonna last forever.
Dude, so I started thinking about like fucking different movies and shows that people just got high all the fucking time. Like so thinking about like stuff like Breaking Bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people doing all this meth and shit. And obviously never done meth in my life, never will. I can't imagine that. Does meth have hallucinogenic properties?
I'm sure it does. It can't not. Because like, then why is everybody who's on meth like just so fucking fucked up and crazy?
I don't know.
It's got to do something to you.
But you think about shows like Breaking Bad or shows like Power, right? And I guess maybe it's a lesser. It's about that's more about selling drugs than it is about doing drugs.
So you guys, you
or like
both,
Euphoria, right?
Both you and Addie asked me this question one time. We were talking about like my my girlfriend's like favorite movies, right? Mm-hmm. So I think probably the most the movie I think towards the most when I think about like drug movies is Requiem of a Dream. Yeah. And then there's the movie.
That's actually on my list of movies. I remember watching it way back in the day, but before I like cared about like understanding movies and shit.
Yeah.
And so I barely remember the movie. So I've always meant to go back and like watch that again, but for some reason I'm fearful of. I don't know. It just seems like very bleak.
It was. I didn't love it.
Okay. But what didn't you love about it? Just the way it was like directed, or like literally like the content?
No, I mean, I thought the acting was great. So Marlon Wayans, you've got a young Marlon Wayans, young Jared Leto, a great cast surrounding the two. You've got a young, what's that woman's name? It's that.
Wasn't it? Is it Claire Danes?
No, it wasn't
Claire
Danes. When you say her name, I'm gonna fucking know.
Keira Knightley.
Nope. Conley, Jennifer Conley.
Oh, it's got Jennifer. Okay,
young Jennifer Conley.
Jennifer Conley,
So I mean, great cast, great storyline, great acting, great cinematography. The movie for me, just like I guess like it didn't resonate with me. Okay. So, but I think it's still a really good film. I definitely recommend you watch it. Yeah. The other one I think too is a movie with Johnny Depp, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I think that
was just trippy.
Yeah, I think that's the ultimate like drug trippy movie of all time. Like they're literally just high the entire film.
I guess Cheech and Chong too.
Cheech and Chong, yeah, but like Cheech and Chong are like weed high. I think weed high is very different than
acid or
exactly high.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, all that to say, man. Never done that again. That was terrifying. So I think.
Well, you got to do it again.
No. I'll dabble again, but not clearly like not at that dosage. I will literally, very literally lose my mind if
listen. It's only a bad decision if you only do it once.
Wait, what? Who did?
Listen, it makes sense if you don't think about it too much.
Dr. Phil and
Phil. Yeah. I actually did watch that. It was on Pornhub.
Yeah, I'm sure. Did you watch Dr. Phil and he gave you that?
Listen, you got to do it twice, okay? The first time you might be like, "Oh, that was terrible." And the second time you're like, "You know what? Like, I can do this." It's like when you have sushi for the first time. The first time you're probably like, "Oh, I don't like it," and then you're like, "You know what? Actually, let me try that again." And the second time you're like, "This is amazing."
Yeah, this is what like people like Ted Bundy said. This is like, you know what? Come on,
your first kill.
It was all right, but it's not real until you do it the second time. You know, that's when you really feel it. You know,
take your time next time. Stab her slow. Like
Jesus Christ. I don't know, man. But anyways, that was a very interesting experience that I had. First and only time that I think I want to experience anything like that. I'm cool with just a mellow high. Shout out to my man Cam. He would always given that I don't know shit about drugs, he would always just say like you got your body high and then you got your head high. You got to kind of decide which one you want, and that'll guide you to whatever one works for you. Yeah, just give me the body shit. The mind shit will fucking make me lose my mind. So
I think you just got to do something else next time. Like instead of like watching a movie, like whenever I'm smoking or if I'm on some gummies or doing whatever, I just put on some like lo-fi beats and just like chill, just listen to music and just chill.
Yeah, like again, like so that sounds like a very good plan, but the problem is I was not expecting what happened, and honestly I wouldn't like, even if I knew the thing was coming, I don't think I want that much of it, right? Like I don't like I never liked being like feeling like I'm not necessarily out of control, but that I don't have a good grasp.
I urge you, try it one more time. Obviously in the safety of your home with someone else around you.
I couldn't imagine being at like a party or something like that and to have something like that happen. Bruh.
Yeah.
That would not
like a work party on like Christmas Eve. You touch the boss wife's ass or something like that.
Dude, that would be a terrible experience, dude. Because when you watch all these movies, or you watch like Project X, and you watching like people just getting high and drunk and doing all this other shit. But if people are on something that they either did never experience before or aren't quite ready for the amount that they're given, that's a recipe for disaster, dude. Because it's like, if I wasn't in the comfort and safety of my own home, I would have lost my shit. I would have just lost my mind.
Yeah. Always, if you're trying anything for the first time, got to be at home. Next time, again, play some music, like your favorite album. Yeah. Have a gummy, chill, just listen to your favorite like one or two albums. Great night. Yeah.
Yeah, you're okay.
Listen,
if you say
I'm
so.
giving you great advice here.
Sure. Okay, let's jump into some headlines real quick. We've gone through my crazy escapades. Look, talking about some news, and we'll make it brief. I only got this one. So word is passed down that we're getting some additions to Christopher Nolan's new movie. I'm not sure if necessarily this is the actual title, but it's going by the working title Oppenheimer. At least that's what people are calling it in various articles. And so we got word that so he's already has Cillian Murphy starring in the lead role, and also Emily Blunt, I'm sure playing some sort of supporting role. But we just got news that Robert Downey Jr. as well as Matt Damon will also be in the film. This is turning into quite the cast.
Yeah, it's putting together a stellar cast here.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is like this is like the Heat. What are we doing with Heat? What, 2011, 2012, somewhere around there, right? This feels like the Heat.
You're talking about the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking you're talking about the film Heat, which also
That
had a stellar cast. Yeah. I didn't know which Heat you were going with.
All the Heats. Yeah. Yeah, no, this is a fire cast. Now, the thing I will caution is, even if you do assemble a great cast, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a great movie, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, we're going to find out with the Eternals, right? That's what they did in the reviews thus far. From the critics' reviews, have not been stellar thus far.
Yeah, but I would say that's different than this. That's like a Marvel movie, right? And so you're going to have your Marvel shit in there. We don't even know what the fuck other than being about Oppenheimer, the dude who I guess was involved in creating the atom bomb. We don't really know any specifics about what the fuck's going on in this movie. There's like some level of expectation with the Eternals.
Yeah.
This, no idea what the fuck this is.
I mean, I think with Christopher Nolan, there's a level of expectation here that you're gonna get some like great storytelling. This is like I could, if this is about the atom bomb, I'm sure there's gonna be some like espionage element or a spy, maybe another spy thriller. That's like the genre he's been, or I think he's best known for. I think that is what I'm expecting, but like I think with Christopher Nolan, you always get something just a little bit different.
Yeah.
And with this cast here, whatever that difference might be, whatever the secret sauce might be, I mean, this group looks like they're going to be able to pull it off on paper at least.
Yeah.
So I mean, I saw this earlier this week.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. Love Robert Downey Jr. Matt Damon, whether you love Matt Damon or hate Matt Damon, I think he has a stellar resume.
Do you love him or hate him?
If I had to pick, I would go love just based off of the Jason Bourne or the Bourne saga.
Okay.
I also think he was great. I've seen him great in a lot of other movies. I really enjoyed the Adjustment Bureau.
I thought the Adjustment Bureau, it's kind of a hokey movie a little bit, but I still fucking like it.
I like it. Yeah, I like it.
I mean? I like it. It's kind of silly,
and
but I like it.
Was he in Brokeback Mountain?
No, that was Gyllenhaal and Ledger. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Well, I mean, again, Matt Damon, he's got a good body of work, whether you love him or hate him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I more like him than I do dislike. There has been some clunkers in there where
like District 9. I think he was in that, right?
No, not District 9.
What was the one where he had the suit on? He was
fuck. What was that movie called? But I know what movie you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, didn't really care for that one. Although I didn't. Was it Elysium?
Yes.
Something like that, right?
Elysium. Yeah. You know what? I think that movie was actually it was, and we're gonna get to this later. Eminem was supposed to star in that film, but he turned down that role.
Good for him. He knew what the fuck he was doing. His agent was on point.
He was like, I'm gonna go.
That shit seems silly.
I'm recording the Recovery album right now. It's gonna flop, but I'm probably still gonna make more money and fare better than Matt Damon did in that film.
Yeah. Not a very good movie.
This is why he turned it down, because he wanted the film to take place in Detroit, but logistically they couldn't.
They were like, no, why would we do that? Why would we take it to that fucking desolate town called Detroit?
Now, granted, you wouldn't have to do much like set design or much CGI, because like the city is already destroyed and in shambles.
Yeah, somebody from Detroit's gonna.
But I feel like
up on us.
They were just like, you know what? The director was just like, I just don't want to be in Detroit. Like, let's go film in South Africa.
Even offer him like a good excuse. He's like, I just don't want to be there. Like,
it's just
something about it.
Just don't like driving. Then you gotta turn left, and then let's just fly to South Africa and film there. For 6 months.
We got these set designers. We need to actually have them doing work. We can't just pay them for nothing. Okay, so we gotta actually have them.
That was literally it. That was in the union contract. Like, they gotta do something.
So yeah, I can take most of what Damon's done. But yeah, anyways, interesting news. This is shaping up to be a really, really fucking interesting movie. At least as far as the cast goes. We'll see. If we get any sort of more news on the actual synopsis for the film. A question: have you watched Army of Thieves yet?
Yes.
How was it?
Very good.
Very good. Whoa. Let's pump our brakes. Was it very good or just kind of not terrible?
It was charming. It was witty. It was fun to watch.
So here's what I know your tell is for when something is kind of just...
I don't have a tell.
You do have a tell.
I go to Vegas right now. I don't have a tell.
When something is just okay, but you're trying to like kind of size it up a little bit.
No, I really like this
whenever
movie.
you call something charming, word of advice to anybody who's listening to the podcast, whenever Arain says something's charming, it means it's not very good, but he's trying to speak good of it.
No, you know why? Because one of my favorite movies, One Fine Day. That was a charming movie.
One Fine Day. One Fine Day. Was that with
I think this is
Anne
with
Hathaway?
No. This is with
One Fine Day.
Fucking eyebrows guy.
There's a lot of eyebrows guys.
Here's Johnny,
Anthony
that
Davis?
guy. Fucking
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Yes, and I forget the actress who played along again.
Helen Hunt.
Helen Hunt. Yes.
Yeah.
Very nice movie. Very charming movie.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies. It was so simple. Like sometimes it is like the simplest thing that has that like a charm to it that like makes it good. And I think what's really good about Army of Thieves, and mostly it was the main actor. I think his name is Matthias. What's his name? Hold on. It's like he's got a fucking... In the movie, he had a fucking hard to pronounce name. In real life, he has a hard to pronounce name. I'm not even gonna try this second shit. It's the name of like a furniture piece at IKEA. So I'm just gonna call him Matthias. He's funny. He's sharp. He's witty. His character is charming. The storyline was charming. His like... You know, this like you're watching these two people fall in love. Gwendolyn, who's played by Natalie Emmanuel, who we know from Game of Thrones. It's just a really nice, fun movie to watch, and it has like those elements of like it's funny here. You got a little bit of action there. You have some laughs there. I really like this movie actually.
Fair enough. Yeah, I haven't. I saw it on Netflix the other day, and I was tempted to watch it. Then I was like, well, let me watch something I know I'll probably like.
Yeah. Shout out to Ruby O. Fee. She plays the character Karina in this movie. It's hard. There's no way you don't come out of this movie thinking like that might be one of my favorite characters.
Okay. I might check it out. Does it lend to like? I know it's supposed to be basically like a prequel to Army of, not the Dead. Army of.
No, it's Army of the Dead.
Is it Army of the Dead?
Yeah.
Why does it feel like we've already had that title before Zack Snyder?
I think we have.
Is it a remake?
It's not a remake. I think it just
stole somebody
it's
else's
the same title. Yeah.
Way to think outside the box there, Zach. But does it lend itself to like another sequel to the series?
No. I think it's a true prequel. Like okay. The story from this film leads directly into what we got in Army of the Dead.
Gotcha.
And I love that about it. Like it didn't leave anything. Like there were no gaps.
Gotcha. Okay. So anywho, so yeah, that's all the headlines or some of the headlines from this week. With that being said, I think we're gonna check out a trailer here. The first trailer we're going to check out, this is a spinoff off of The Mandalorian. We get the book of Boba Fett. Basically, it's basically about Boba Fett doing some dope shit. That's essentially the premise for this here show that we're going to get on Disney Plus. I tried to look up who the actual creator of the show or who at least the showrunner of the show was. Couldn't figure that out, but I think Jon Favreau's involved in some type of way, but it was kind of hard for me to decipher who was actually the showrunner. Tamira Morrison, I believe, is playing Boba Fett, but I could also have that wrong. Ming-Na Wen also stars, as well as Jennifer Beals. Who's Justin Timberlake's wife? Jessica Biel. Okay.
Jessica Biel.
Okay, so that's something completely different. Also, they spell it different ways. And also, her name's Jennifer, not Jessica. But anyways, as I digress.
A huge difference. Everything is different.
This is supposed to drop December 29th of this year. Dude, this year is fucking cruising by. Like, just yesterday, it was like January, and we're just bringing in a new year, dude.
So, I think there are 6 or 7 weeks left in all of 2021.
That's fucking great. Does that make you happy, sad, or indifferent?
the further we get from 2020, I feel like we're in a good place.
But it doesn't. That I think that's why this year's felt like it's gone by so fast. Is because it just felt like a continuation of 2020.
Yeah, no one's gonna remember 2021 because it's gonna be like. There was 2020 and then 2022 when we were finally out of this shit. Hopefully,
I don't even think that. I think like basically like the first half of this decade is basically just 2020.
Maybe, yeah. I think. Listen, however they write the history books, I just don't think 2021. No one's gonna. What happened in 2021?
Irrelevant.
That like anyone really cares about.
Yeah, they're just gonna call it 2020 Part 2.
Yeah, it's just gonna be like, Tom Brady won a Super Bowl without Belichick, and then what other like dope shit happened?
Well, Trump got out of office.
Yeah,
supposedly.
But like that's not even that exciting. It's like we knew that was gonna happen. Now 2024, we'll see what happens then.
Yeah.
But yeah, fuck 2021. I'm ready for, and 2022 sounds better.
How?
It looks cooler. 2021 is just so long to say. 2022. That feels good.
Yeah. All right, let's just watch the fucking trailer. This guy's drunk.
Not off of Guinness. 8-legged freaks.
I am not a bounty hunter. I've heard otherwise. I know that you sit on the throne of your former employer. Jabba ruled with fear. I intend to rule with respect.
You were all once captains under Jabba the Hutt.
I'm here to make a proposal that's mutually beneficial. Why speak of conflict when cooperation can make us all rich?
What prevents us all from killing you and taking what we want?
If you had spoken such insolence to Jabba, he'd have fed you to his menagerie.
Please, speak freely.
All right, I fuck with it a little bit.
Listen, I mean, I'm here for it. I didn't even need the trailer. Just like release it. I'm here.
It's coming in December, so it's coming really close. That's a couple months away. But I kind of read this a little bit, so I cheated a little bit, but it still doesn't take away from the fact of its truth. It does give you kind of like Godfather vibes, right? Where you've got sort of the head of all the families, and he's trying to pull everybody together and be like, look, why are we beefing?
Yeah.
Let's make some cash, So it's kind of tight. I like that how they're but here's the thing that I'm hoping, right? And I'm ready for all the smoke that comes with this. I know people love The Mandalorian. I get it. It looks great. There's just no doubt about that. But The Mandalorian looks great. Pedro Pascal, great actor.
Yeah, he set the
actor.
bar high.
Yeah, even though he only acted in precisely 12% of it. I'm joking. I don't know how much he actually acted. It was
just his voice, right?
Was it even his voice most of the time?
He did it mostly over like a Zoom call. That was it.
For sure. Yeah. They just tweaked the settings of Zoom. They're like, look, I think they're good.
Audio was crisp. Good for that.
Great looking show. The plot is a hot steaming pile of shit. I defy anybody to tell me what the fuck The Mandalorian is about except for Baby Yoda. Tell me what else we're dealing with in The Mandalorian that's like coherent.
You put me on the spot. I can't do it right now.
Exactly. But, no. Because you know why you can't come up with it? Because there isn't a plot to it. It's just about Baby Yoda.
Most of the times it's hard. Like you got to really think about like, all right, what was like the thing? What was the storyline? Was it this like kinship. This what you're watching is like this kinship between two
for those who are
unlikely
wondering,
friends.
that is a dog barking. My dog's currently losing his shit or her shit because somebody's.
We
probably at
gave the
door.
dog a gummy.
Yeah. She's tripping the fuck out right now. No, yo, what would I'm clearly that's dog abuse, but Jesus,
or is
what
it?
would happen? Yes, what the fuck?
Why don't pets deserve to get high too?
No, they do. Like if a dog,
They got those.
Like, see what I'm saying?
The same spot where it got yours.
Yeah.
They sell the exact same stuff for dogs.
No. But I'm
As they
assuming
should.
that those are for dogs who are like in pain.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah. No, if your dog's just walking around being normal and shit, and you give him a gummy,
Happy dog.
happy dog my ass. Dog will be like, what?
Take
the
him to the dog
fuck?
park. Holy shit, his life will change.
It's too bright outside. Turn the lights off. But anyways, I'm sorry. You were describing or talking about.
Yeah, but I mean, like again, Mandalorian on the surface might seem like a unlikely kinship between the Mandalorian and who now becomes a protector of Baby Yoda, and they go on this like awesome journey across space and time. Who the fuck knows, right?
Space and time.
Yeah, I just do. It just sounded cooler to say space and time. There's no time travel in this show, but I'm spitballing here.
Yeah,
what I like about this Boba Fett trailer is it seems, cause when you think about Boba Fett from like the original Star Wars movies and cartoons and shows, whatever you're familiar with, you remember like the action, the fighting. He was just like fierce warrior, right? And I think what it looks like we're going to get in this show is maybe in like an older Boba Fett who is now stepped into like a position of prominence.
I really do wonder what time period. And I since this is, I guess, a spinoff of The Mandalorian, I think Boba Fett was in The Mandalorian, I think season 3.
Mm-hmm.
I assume it's from the same time period. I assume it's not like.
And just judging by like the actor who is playing Boba Fett, like obviously this is like someone in their 30s, 40s, whatever it may be, and it seems like what we're gonna get is like. They're going to explain how he became Boba Fett, right? But what we're going to get is the story of like, now that he's arrived and he is this like well-known, respected, fierce warrior becoming this leader, how does he now play like the political game? Yeah. While still making heads roll if needed.
I'd be great if they just turned this into basically just like a mob movie, but with fucking bounty hunters, Star Wars bounty hunters. I'd love it. I just want a plot that doesn't center around one central, like, objective. Or that's the wrong way, because I think all movies or shows center around basically just like one main objective. But it was like all we got was just him, the Mandalorian, trying to protect Baby Yoda, and that was very literally the only plot to the Mandalorian. Maybe every episode to episode you might get something cool in there. But really, it was kind of boring and stupid, unless they were talking about Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian. But that got boring after like season 1.
You're crazy, man.
How's that? How am I crazy?
Because yes, while he was like on this like unwanted journey, right? He didn't want this job, but it's like this thing chose you, right? You are the person who can do this, and now you have to become the thing, right? You have to become this protector of this child who, you didn't want any part of this to begin with, and then you see him eventually become that thing, and you see them go through a lot of these like trials together and grow from it, and their relationship grows. And
yeah,
blah, blah,
that's
blah.
like one season worth of storyline that they stretched out to 3.
Yes, you know what? I'm not gonna lie about that.
Yeah, we could have wrapped that up.
But it was a great 3.
Yeah, we could have wrapped that up in a hot 10 episodes. We could have got that in. Yeah,
they did what Dragon Ball Z does, where like Goku was powering up for like 4 episodes.
On the next episode of Dragon Ball Z, basically the same shit you watch in this episode, but more of it.
That's it. But visually, it was great to watch. It was
visually fantastic. There's no doubt about that. They created a world, an atmosphere that was fantastic, and it seems like it's carrying over into the Book of Boba Fett. But I just want a different story. I want you to mix it up for me. Like, even if you do have one central story, give me something else in it. That's, especially if you're going to have multiple seasons of the show, give me something else as well. Don't just give me one storyline through 3 seasons of a show and be like, but you love it, right? No, I don't fucking love it. Just give me something. Do something. Be creative. Do some other shit. And so I don't know what the fuck they're going to do for season 4 of The Mandalorian. But I would assume since the way season 3 ended, they're gonna have to figure some shit out. But anyways, the Book of Boba Fett looks dope. Yeah, and I like. I
like what Luke is Lucasfilms, right?
Yeah,
but like they sold, sure. But they still go by Lucasfilms because George Lucas no longer owns Lucasfilms.
Yeah, the name is still Lucasfilms. But,
yeah,
but this I was making sure. Disney property. Though,
yeah, Disney property. Sure. I like everything that they're doing. What is the other project featuring? It's my favorite. One of my favorite people on the planet.
Rosario Dawson.
Yes. Listen.
The Akosa. And I went back and actually watched the Star Wars, the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Dope, dude. Dope. I haven't gotten to finish it yet. But back when we talked about, and I might be mispronouncing your name, but I think it's Akaso.
No, it's Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. Mm-hmm. So she was basically Anakin's apprentice. Mm-hmm. And so you got to see them go on a lot of like different journeys and adventures and shit like that. It was honestly kind of dope.
Yeah, and in that series, we're gonna get the return of Hayden Christensen as Anakin.
I don't think he's gonna be like in it though. He's gonna do like a little cameo,
little touch, little drop in,
throw the deuces up, and then be out.
I hope we get a little bit more than that. I like Hayden Christensen as an actor.
People
hate on him.
Hate on him so much for Star Wars. But he wasn't the bad thing about Star Wars.
No.
You could argue his performance in Attack of the Clones was not great, right?
Yeah.
I'll admit that. But I loved him in Revenge of the Sith. I thought he did a great job. The problem was kind of just, and not even the story, but the execution of the story, I think is shout out to my man Dan. But we kind of talk about this all the time where the bones of the story were there. It's just they just did it in a very kind of just silly and almost kind of like comical way. But anyways, not to go back.
I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
But anyway, all the things that they're doing at Disney and Lucasfilms with these like Star Wars spinoffs, like I like it. They got some great shit coming out. They got Andor coming out. They got Rangers of the New Republic coming out.
Well, I wonder. Oh, they're doing a new Knights of the Old Republic. That's being
a remake.
Nice. Did you ever play Knights of the Old Republic?
No.
One might be my favorite game of all time.
Really?
Might be. It's high up there. It's high up there. I absolutely love that game. The game came out back in like 2002, 2001, somewhere around there.
Yeah. I think just when you thought Star Wars was like slowing down with their shit, these motherfuckers are speeding up.
Well, they got to do a new trilogy. That's going to be the big thing. I feel like that's what it's all. It feels like they're building up momentum to something, right? And so I assume at some point in the near decade, we're going to get a new trilogy. Who knows? It's probably not going to be about the Skywalkers, or it might just involve them just a little bit. But it's almost guaranteed that we're going to get some sort of new trilogy, and I think that that's what they're building towards. It feels like with each show that they do, that they're trying to build an expectation, and they're trying to set the groundwork for something.
Yeah, and it might be with all these little individual spinoffs, right? You got Mandalorian, you got Boba Fett, you got Andor, you got Ahsoka, and then just like what they did with in the MCU, where you had like Iron Man and Captain America, and you got all these different storylines, and then at a certain point they all converge.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. What if they do some sort of Avengers sort of
where you get Boba, you get Mandalorian, you get Ahsoka back, you get
now
Andor.
They've all been in kind of, so Ahsoka was in the Mandalorian.
So was Boba Fett.
So they've already sort of had, but what if they come out with like sort of like a not the Avengers, but the who's the shit on Netflix that they try to do, the Defenders. Yeah, which turned out to be lame as shit. Yo, we were all so excited for that, and we're massively disappointed.
There haven't been many times in my life when I've been that disappointed. And like I've had some ups and downs in my life. So I've been let down before, hung out to dry, but not like the way they did me.
We were all ready after because I think that was after Daredevil season 2 when that I might be getting the timeline fucked up, but we got Jessica Jones that popped. We got
I mean, Luke Cage. I thought Luke Cage season 3. I thought that shit was fire.
What that would have been at that point. I think that was the first season of Luke Cage. Had aired at that point.
Was it?
By the time the Defenders came out, yeah. I think only season 1 of Luke Cage. So we were still. I haven't even watched season 2 of Luke Cage, but I hear that there's a little bit of a drop off from season 1.
Yeah, season 2 was garbage.
And then we got fucking Iron Fist. And when Iron Fist came out, that's when everybody's like, all right, okay. That was a miss.
Movie
that was a miss, or that show.
That show was dog shit. Fuck that show.
So when the Defenders came out, we were all ready. We were like, yes. And then we watched it and we're like, no.
Yo, what went wrong?
Everything, dude. The
that
story,
might be a whole other
everything.
conversation.
Yeah, that really is an entire other conversation. It was just garbage. But hopefully, they might be building towards something better than that with this whole sort of Star Wars interconnected universe here. But with that being said, we'll jump to our next trailer. So we actually already reviewed the, I think, initial trailer, which was, I guess, more of a teaser for this. But we're going to check out the second trailer for Morbius, which is about biochemist Michael Morbius, who tries to cure himself of a rare blood disease, but he inadvertently infects himself with a form of vampirism instead. This is directed by Daniel Espinosa and stars Jared Leto, Matt Smith, Adria Arjona, and Tyrese. Of all people, Tyrese Gibson.
You can't get rid of him.
No, you can't.
Baby boy.
This comes out January 28th of 2022. I've recently gone back, and not recently, but maybe a few months ago, watched the Spider-Man, the animated series. Mm-hmm. First of all, fire. Still holds up. Love it. Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
But I did go, obviously watch the storyline of Morbius. And I'm not going to lie to you. Not going to lie. Kind of fire. I remember it being a little lame when I was a kid, but then I went back and watched it. I was like, shit's kind of slaps. Because he's not really like a hero, but also he's not a villain either. Something weird in between.
You're like your anti-hero, right?
But he's not even kind of like an anti-hero. He's just a dude who's just trying to survive. At least that's what it was in the series. And he's not like good or bad. He's just trying to survive. And so it's like, you can't, at least the way they set him up is like, you can't really blame him. I mean, he's turned out the way he did, but, or at least maybe I'm remembering it incorrectly, but it just wasn't, I don't know. It just wasn't your straightforward bad guy, good guy sort of situation with him.
Let's watch this trailer. Then I have a thought as like where Marvel may be going with this.
Boom. Or where Sony's going with it, I guess.
Sony,
yeah. Light us up.
You need a doctor?
I am a doctor. I should have died years ago. People all over the world have my disease. I'm here to find a cure. We have to push the boundaries, take the risks. If you're gonna run, do it now.
People are strange.
Dr. Michael Morbius, you've been missing for 2 months.
When you're a stranger,
Then you were found on a container ship that washed up off of Long Island.
faces look ugly. When you're alone,
What did you do to yourself, Doctor?
I wish I knew. I went from dying to being more alive than ever.
It worked.
Not exactly. I have increased strength and speed, and some form of bat radar. What else can I do?
There are limits. There has to be.
There's something inside of me that wants to hunt and consume blood.
Michael.
when you're strange. Faces come
And you control it.
I don't know.
Half the city wants to kill you.
remembers your name
We haven't had anything this good since that thing in San Francisco.
when you're strange.
The other half wants to control you.
Hey, Dr. Mike, you and I should stay in touch.
I'd do anything to save a life. But I don't know what I'm capable of.
You save lives, you don't take them. Are you here to heal the world? Or to destroy it? Who the hell are you, man?
I am Venom. I'm just kidding. It's Dr. Michael Morbius at your service.
So obviously a couple Venom references here, right?
Spider-Man references.
Yeah, we haven't had anything weird. We haven't had anything like this since that thing in San Francisco. Venom at the end of the trailer, he says like, "I am Venom," right? The Spider-Man reference, I didn't catch that one.
Well, for one, Spider-Man, like it was like a poster or something like that for Spider-Man, but then also Michael Keaton, who played Vulture, I believe. I believe, yeah, he played Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming. He was in he's in the movie.
Okay.
And I'm assuming that he's playing Vulture again because in the Spider-Man verse, whatever the fuck you want to call it, Vulture is in jail, and so it makes sense that if maybe Morbius is going to jail, then
they might intersect there.
Yeah.
So theory. If you're familiar with the Spider-Man animated series, and I'm glad you brought that up, right? So in Spider-Man, in the animated series, we've got Spider-Man who is somewhat trying to capture or catch Morbius or stop him, right? But at the same time, to your point, Spider-Man knows that Morbius is not like he's someone who's dealing with something, and he's trying to like overcome that thing. He's trying to cure that thing. And I think in the cartoon, Morbius is in love with not Mary Jane, but there's another female character throughout the Spider-Man series.
It's not Mary Jane. What's her name?
Gwen
Stacy.
Gwen Stacy. Yeah,
I believe so.
So I think they have a relationship. So there's some intersection there, right? But we know that there's an upcoming Blade movie, and in the animated series, Blade is hunting Morbius. So I'm hoping that down the road, what we're going to get is like some intersection there, right? We're going to see Morbius intersect with Spider-Man, and then we're going to see Blade come in as this, not villain, but like as the person hunting Morbius.
Shit. If we're sitting in the middle of the fucking theater and then all of a sudden at the end of the movie, it's Marshall Ali just shows up with a fucking sword or some shit.
Yo,
I will shit my pants.
Early prediction. I could be wrong. I hope I'm right.
Shit.
But if that does happen, then it'll follow the comic books.
I don't think it will though, and this is the reason why. I think Sony is trying to distance itself from the MCU. So I think they're trying to create their own sort of interconnected universe, which has Venom, Spider-Man in it. And I think that this last movie that we're going to get from Spider-Man, Far From Home, or No Way Home, is essentially a sort of like, because remember they did that deal where basically they were like, all right, we'll bring Spidey back for like one more movie that is a part of this deal where we sort of do it together. But I think they're trying to create their own interconnected universe apart from the MCU. So that's why I don't think that.
Yeah, I mean, even if we just get Morbius and maybe in the Morbius film that introduces Blade, who we know is coming out in 2023, I believe. I think that'll be a great segue because we've seen movies where Blade is hunting vampires before, right? Yeah. We've got three of those.
Like in the actual animated cartoon, I'm pretty sure that Blade actually did hunt Morbius.
Yeah, I know for a fact he did.
Yeah.
And like, so in the original 3 Blade films with Wesley Snipes, we've got him hunting like your everyday common vampires. And then in like Blade 2,
go back and watch that tonight. I don't watch Blade.
I've seen the original Blade movie at least.
Might even watch Blade 2. I don't know.
I might say 12 times. One of my favorite movies.
Funny
but we have Blade hunting vampires as we know them to be, right? Morbius is clearly something else. And in the cartoon, I really loved that whole like hunt because to your point, Morbius isn't like, he's not a true villain.
Yeah.
And Blade knows that. So it's like, I'm hunting you. I want to stop you, but I know that like you're not as evil as you seem to be.
Yeah.
So they had this like weird relationship.
Yeah. If it weren't for the whole Morbius, Venom, and Spider-Man to obviously half an extent, if they weren't all Sony properties, then I would think that would be fucking, that could be a possibility that might actually happen. But because one is Disney and Marvel, the other is Sony, I don't think that's likely. But
I thought Blade was a Sony property though.
No,
it's solely owned by Marvel.
I believe he's just a Marvel property at this point. But it's such a shame, man, because it's just like, yo,
work together, guys.
Yo, like like whether we like to admit it or not, we're in this shit together, you know.
Yeah, we see like a clothing brands and sneaker brands team up all the time, right? Yeah. The Nike collaboration with Balenciaga, or what we saw recently, just Balenciaga just stole Asics design, but that's a whole nother story. But like we see, like clothing brands and footwear brands team up all the time to do a project. Lil Baby and Lil Durk drop an album together. Like, let's fucking put some of these Sony and Marvel just work together. Stop worrying about who gets the check first. Just put out great shit. Because
when you're talking about millions of dollars, I feel like people are like, oh yeah, we care very much.
In this case, billions. But they need to work together because there's so many great stories they could tell that aren't being told because of contract differences.
So I think that's part of the problem, right? Is that the shit that people really fucking want to see, it has everybody in it, right? Like, so for instance, we were basically robbed of getting a true Infinity War showdown where like fucking the X-Men and everybody was in it, right? Yeah. Because of just dumb fucking, rights shit, it just boiled down to who had the rights, and at that time it was, I guess, Fox, but Fox ended up getting snatched up by Disney anyways, so it didn't even fucking matter. But it would have been great if we could really see, because in the comics, I believe, and somebody obviously can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Wolverine is the person who gave Thanos the fucking cuts on his face. The scars on his face were from Wolverine's claws, Yeah. And so when you have like shit like that, it would be fire to see that on
also,
big screen.
Wolverine and Captain America are great friends. They were in the army together. They went through a lot together, and there's a huge intersection between like a lot of those characters and the X-Men characters. But yeah, you're right. Contract differences, who gets how much money, whose name or logo comes first, bullshit like that makes it so that we don't get the stories we should get. It's like a Mayweather and Pacquiao fight. And like we should have got it when they were young.
We got it. We were all just like, ugh.
Now they're 50 and it's like, well, I still want to see them fight, but like I wish I would have got it 20 years ago.
Fucking fighting with like their dentures and shit. It's like, this doesn't quite hit as hard.
They don't quite hit as hard.
10 milligrams. That was about 10 milligrams. If we would have solved them like maybe 6 years earlier, 25 milligrams.
Oh yeah, you'd have lost your shit in the theaters. Baby, rub my chest. Rub my chest.
Hey, shit works, man. Hey, look, I'm not gonna lie, and I haven't quite had this conversation with her. Looked at her a little differently after that. Before that, it was kind of like, no, we're cool. After that, it's like, oh my god, you kind of saved my life. I owe you one. Yeah. You might have saved me a little bit there, because I was definitely losing my shit. And it was like 3 a.m. in the morning, so I could completely understand. She was just like, yeah, shut the fuck up, man. I'm gonna go back to sleep, right? Yeah. And I would have had a meltdown on my own, but she didn't. Stayed up with me for a while.
It's like the little moments, right, when you realize that, like, all right, when I'm in need, this person will be there for me. They'll show up, right? Yeah. And even if they have no reason to, even if I'm like disturbing them, or like the thing is costing them more than it's costing me, they still show up.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, she was like looking up shit on, online to try to see how she could help. Yeah, I couldn't ask for anything better.
That's dope.
Anyways, let's trek forward here. We got a couple stories, and then I think we can wrap this bad boy up. Look, let's just talk about it. All right, COVID running rampant. A lot of people suffering from COVID, vaccinated, non-vaccinated. A lot of shit happening, right? But I feel like COVID is sort of dropped from the headlines in terms of we don't really hear about it unless we hear about somebody who's like unvaccinated, right? Then we're like, oh my God, this person's unvaccinated. Crucify them, right? Sometimes justly, sometimes not so justly, right? Like, for instance, my quarterback for my team, Aaron Rodgers, turns out he was immunized, but just not with anything that actually mattered, that we would actually consider to be an actual
That's
vaccine.
that Joe Rogan podcast
yeah,
for you.
Exactly. Yeah. He was listening to a little too much Joe Rogan. He's all about, he had an ivermectin shirt. I think I saw him wear at one point. I'm joking. But it just came out recently that he's unvaccinated. And he's going to miss a couple games, potentially a couple games, because of that. I've gotten to the point where I know it'd be better if everybody was vaccinated so we can, give us a greater chance to basically beat back this COVID thing. Right. But I'm to the point now, I don't really give a shit anymore. Like in terms of if somebody else is vaccinated or not, because at the end of the day, people make choices all the fucking time. People choose to drink Henry Ruggs off of the Las Vegas Raiders, right?
Jesus Christ.
Chose to drink and drive. And apparently he must have been really fucking impaired because the way that was how fast he was going.
That was his, what he was clocked at top speed. Yeah. The accident happened at 127.
Yeah.
Not in the morning.
Yeah.
Miles per hour.
That's miles per hour.
That's fucking insane.
So you do shit like that, right? And that has nothing, that we rely on each other to just not do dumb shit, but it's going to happen, right? And so I'm at the point where I don't really give a shit anymore. It's like if I hear somebody's unvaccinated, I'm like, all right, for whatever reasons that they have, valid or stupid, that I might think that they are, that's their fucking choice to do it. You can't fucking be like, run up on them like, I'm going to stab you in his arm with this shot. Like, no, they want to make their own choice, right? Comes out. Ice Cube turned down $9 million movie role because he was unvaccinated. They said,
now,
hey, you should get vaccinated for this, in order to work on this project. He was like, nah, I respectfully disagree. They were like, cool, we'll find somebody else.
And so here's why, to me, that this is not as big of a story as it seems. To me, $9 million is a lot. To Ice
Cube, probably not. Yeah, he's still living off Friday residuals. Yeah, one would think.
I mean, he's done so much work on so many projects: TV, film, music. He's got the big three, which, compared to the NBA, you might think it's like a small thing, but the big three is, they got TV contracts. They got a lot of former NBA stars. They're looking like, if the future of the big three is what a lot of people are thinking it is, they are going to be a viable NBA alternative as like things as progress and they get more like contracts and TV deals and talent and so on. Yeah. So Ice Cube is doing fine. If he chose to walk away from this project because they required him to be vaccinated and he didn't want to do that, no problem. That's his choice. He's very much like in the beginning of all this stuff, he was very much for, wearing your mask, getting vaccinated. So I view him as being on somewhat the right side of this thing. But at the end of the day, his personal choice is his own to make. If he chose not to be vaccinated, no problem. If he didn't make a fuss about this either. He just left the project. It's not like he, tried to sue and get unions involved or like shut down the project or anything like that. He just said, you know what? If you require me to be vaccinated, I don't want to do that. I'm going to walk away from this project. You can recast my role.
Which I can fucking respect.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can respect the shit out of that. I may not agree with them. Like, and honestly, we say that, but then we don't even know what the reasoning is. Usually it turns out to be something really stupid, right? Like I read on this site that, and it's usually something fucking dumb.
Yeah, Joe Rogan. So.
Yeah, I mean, but even Rogan, right? Like, I think everybody's hesitancy is because we don't know what the long-term ramifications of the vaccine is. Completely fucking true. But I file that under, I don't know what the long-term effects of literally anything is. So what the fuck is?
I don't know what the long-term effects of drinking El Dorado Amber Ale by Guinness is.
Bruh, no, but not even drinking. The computers we're using, the cell phones we're using, we don't know what that shit's going to do to us long term. People have gotten vaccines when they were kids. We don't really know what the fuck the long term.
What the fuck is ibuprofen? I take it all the time if I have a headache.
No idea. Half the time it doesn't even work on my headache, and I still take it, right? So I say all that to say it's like I get having some sort of skepticism, right? And I can respect people in Ice Cube's and I don't know why calling him Ice Cube still seems like it feels wrong. Like, what's your fucking real name? I'm not going to call you Ice Cube anymore.
I feel like calling him anything other than Ice Cube.
Ronald? Let me call you Ronald. Like, I don't want to call you Ice Cube. That seems stupid.
O'Shea Jackson.
O'Shea Jackson, that's what it is.
Yeah.
O'Shea.
You call him O'Shea? No. You don't call Drake Aubrey Graham. Call him Drake.
Well, Drake just sounds like a regular name. It's not fucking Ice Cube. That Ice Cube sounds stupid.
I don't know. I'm still going to call Ice Cube Ice Cube. I'm going to call Ice-T Ice-T.
Ice-T even sounds dumber.
Really? No, what? This is
Ice-T. The fuck? What is this?
Who else has a nickname that we still call them by the
92?
nickname? Who is the stupidest name? We're like, I don't want to call you that anymore.
Bow Wow. No, Diddy has to have the worst because we don't even know what the fuck they call Diddy. What is he these days? Is it P Diddy?
Love.
Is it P?
Didn't he change his name to like Love?
Yeah, I would assume.
I think he tried to change his name to Love. Kanye just changed his name to Ye. It's just Ye now.
I mean, that's fine. Whatever. You know.
Yeah,
I'm sure everybody already called. So he's like, let's just make this. Wait, so it's no longer West. It's not like Ye West.
It's just Ye.
It's just Ye. Wow. Okay, guy's aggressive. Jesus. All right.
It's like Cher.
Well, you have to be at a certain tax
Thanos.
bracket.
They only don't have last names.
Thanos Jackson.
Right. What if Thanos did have like a last name that wasn't like manly and rugged? It was just something very like soft.
Thanos Lavender.
Thanos May. His last name's May.
Nobody's scared of him.
Yes.
He shows up in Infinity War. They're just like, sup?
He's at the DMV like, Mr. May.
He doesn't want to
stand
stand
up with the gauntlet. Someone's like, take that shit off.
It's not going to help you get in line any faster, sir.
He snaps. It doesn't work at the DMV. Like, what? Oh, fuck it. I'm here.
Take a ticket, sir, please. You are number 145. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like I respect Ice Cube in this particular situation because it really isn't like he's just like trying to impress what he believes on everybody else. He's just like, if this is what you're requiring, I can't meet that, so I'm gonna have to back out of this project, right? I can respect the shit out of that. I think where things go wrong is when, and can we just, for all the people out there who are like, everybody's trying to make this so political. Well, what the fuck do you call something that affects everybody? Like, what other thing other than political would you call that? Like, it's a decision that literally affects everybody, right?
Yeah.
Whether people are vaccinated or not. It's not like you decide you're unvaccinated and you're like, oh, well, that doesn't affect anybody. No, it actually does fucking affect
There's only
people.
two things to call this: political or societal, right? Either way, it affects a lot of people.
You get to the same fucking place.
Same thing.
Yeah. So for all the people who are like, don't make this political, man. This isn't political statement. This is motherfucker. What else would you fucking call it? I'm not saying that he's, I'm not being like, oh, you're a Trumper or something like that by doing something like this. But it is it's not necessarily a political statement because that's different when you actually come out and be like, this is what I stand for. But you are effectively letting people know what your stance is when this is the result of it, right? But I'm not going to like bemoan him or say that he's wrong for doing so. That's his own choice. But what I will say is that there's going to be a major shift in how society operates if suddenly now that if there are certain groups or like I think they said that the unions for the entertainment industry that they basically decided to mandate the vaccines, right? If you start getting these type of situations, then I feel like Ice Cube's one thing, but as soon as you start seeing like the Tom Cruises of the world or like the fucking Will Smiths of the world or fucking like what's Helen Mirren or somebody like that drop out of a film because they're unvaccinated, that's going to suddenly open up a lot of fucking chances for people who might not have had chances otherwise. Might change the landscape of things a bit.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of curious where that's all going to go, because one project can change a life. You know what I mean? So that one project you weren't in that you should have been in, you're like, fuck. Will Smith still regrets not being Neo to this very day, right? That one role that you should have been in and you weren't, who's going to get that role, who then is going to get that opportunity? I feel like it hasn't really taken effect yet, but I feel like in a couple years we're going to see that this is going to have like a profound effect on just like the shape of the movies and shows.
Yeah.
And shit like
Now the problem people have with that is they say like, oh well, if not getting the vaccine means now you're compromising your job, which is then compromising your income, your ability to take care of yourself and your family. That's where it gets fucked up, right? And I very much understand that, right? If all of us, if you don't want to get vaccinated for personal reasons, and like you've worked at this company for 10 years, and now the company sends you an email like, hey, John, get the vaccine, or, you know, your time with this company is done. That's kind of like, you know, that's a pretty difficult decision to make. But at the same time, employment is not, at least on a per company, I think every person should have the right to be able to pursue like a job, seek gainful employment, as I think it's said, have a career, earn a respectable wage, provide for their families. I think every person should have that right, but not to the point where like if a company you work for now says like, hey, this is our policy. If you don't want to abide by our policy, then you're going to have to seek employment elsewhere. Like in that situation, you now have a choice. You can get vaccinated and continue employment. You can not get vaccinated. That's perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. You just have to seek employment elsewhere. We see what's happening in the NFL and the NBA, and like, you know, certain college coaches have to step down from the head of their programs because they're not getting vaccinated. And people are like, oh, that's not right. The university shouldn't force this like UCLA head coach to step down because he doesn't want to get vaccinated. Well, they'd have the right to do that, and the head coach has the right to choose whether or not he wants to get vaccinated, and he can go get a job elsewhere.
But it's actually hilarious because the same people who would say that would say like, oh, you know, if some baker doesn't want to make cakes, you know, for, you know, a gay couple or, you know, whoever, or an interracial couple, then it's within their prerogative. Those same people who are saying that they shouldn't fire them because they're not vaccinated. So it's just like, I feel like what this COVID-19, this pandemic has really revealed is just the absurd hypocrisy of just everybody, really. Nobody's consistent. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, does the thing work for me? If not, fuck it. If it does, I love it, you know? And that's like basically the one human trait that I think is like universal, right?
If
does
it
this
fits
thing
how
work for me?
I see the world, then I'm going to green light it. I'm thumbs up. I'm all on board. If it doesn't fit how I see the world, even if like it's a conflict of other things that I believe, fuck it. I don't agree with it, blah, blah, blah. It's crazy. No, but again, to your point, here's what I respect about Ice Cube. He just said, you know what? I don't want to get vaccinated. No problem. I'll step away from this project, continue on without me, recast. I'm not going to make a big fuss. Here's why this is different than the Kyrie Irving situation. This is Kyrie Irving kind of like didn't provide any reason why he's doing what he's doing. He's kind of like remained silent, has refused to speak about it. Whenever he's asked about
Kyrie's kind of stupid. In that, like, so he has occasionally sort of talked. I don't know if he's necessarily talking about, but he's talked about like other things, right? Where he's made comments and things like that. The thing I think I hate about Kyrie is that it always feels like it's from a place of, oh, I'm doing the smart thing, you're doing the dumb thing, right? Like you're being stupid and I'm being enlightened. But it's like, no, Kyrie, I think you're just doing a very stupid thing. Like, it's not like even the reasons, like Ice Cube has said nothing. And I firmly would like endorse or at least stand by his decision to do that, right?
Yeah.
But Kyrie, it seems like it's always from like this like arrogant standpoint of, oh no, I know you're all idiots and you're making the wrong choices.
Yeah. Ice Cube said nothing. Kyrie is saying a lot of nothing.
Yeah. That's basically
difference.
What it is. Yeah.
Did you see when he went live?
No.
Like, so he went live on like, Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever in response to Stephen A's comments on First Take, where Stephen A is calling him out, saying like he's this is the organization that's hired you, paid you $150 million and you to show up, and now you're not showing up, and you don't even have the decency to give your organization or your teammates or the fans that have bought your jerseys and bought your shoes an explanation, right? And I think that's fair. And then Kyrie jumped on live, I've never heard someone say nothing for 3 minutes. Yeah. He was basically just like this is crazy. Like, y'all out here talking bad about me. Like people are hearing this, and so what if the thing doesn't happen, and it's my choice, and you don't live my life. I'm not you. You're not me. And so what about this? Like, and that went on for 3 minutes. And at the end of it, I swear to God, at the end of it, he still did not explain this. Is like, why did you go live?
Well, but and I think it's different, right? Like when you're playing for a team, it's different than when you're a person who's being hired to act in a movie, right? When you're playing for a team and the team is, for all intent and purposes, still paying you, there's a fan base. I've recently changed to sort of like the way I started like looking at sports. Like, fans fucking matter, dude. Literally, if it weren't for the fans, none of these people would have a job. And so instead of looking at it like, because I always, why the fuck do they have to do these stupid press conferences? Like, why do they have to talk to the media, right? It's because they need to let the fans know what the fuck is actually happening. Even if it's some bullshit, even if it's whatever, at least they can throw the fans a bone, because those are the people who are actually paying money to like watch you do whatever the fucking thing is that you do. So the least you can do is give them some sort of lip service as to like what the fuck's going on, especially if they see this person who they're rooting for, who they bought the jerseys for, who they go to all the stupid events that this person goes to and supports them in every way that they possibly can. And I'm saying this as somebody who, so I help run a show, and I just see the interaction between the personality on the show and the audience, and even me who's behind the scenes, and the love that these people give us. And it's just like, it's mind blowing. And the least that we can do is actually interact with them. That's the least we can. They're paying their money to see us or to see our product. The least we can do is just interact with them, you know?
If I'm a Nets season ticket holder and I bought tickets because that Kyrie came, and then Kyrie helped bring in Kevin Durant, and Kyrie helped bring in James Harden, and it is this mix that I believe in, that this team is going to win a championship. For that reason, I'm going to choose to invest thousands and thousands of my dollars into this team and this franchise, and my time into the game, and time and emotion and all those things. And then for someone to be, for you to have made that investment, and for the person to be like, I'm not showing up. Yeah. Like the thing I told you, the thing I told you I came here to do. Yeah. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. And I'm not going to offer you any sort of
zero.
I'm just going to dip out.
And I'm going to pretend to be smarter than you, and pretend like I know something that you don't know.
Yeah. And so, those two cases are different to me. But at the end of the day, I'm just, it's going to be so interesting to see what the fallout is from all this, because I think that it is going to open up opportunities for other people to sort of just like, because who's going to slide into this movie role now, right? Now, it being Hollywood, they'll just get some other black
Kevin
actor
Hart.
That's probably to be in a movie. But very interesting shit. All right, let's move on to our last story. This is kind of like a more lighthearted story, which I found to be absolutely hilarious. So Will Ferrell, funny guy. We know him for a lot of things. One of the greatest cameos of all time was, I still maintain, probably the greatest cameo of all time was him in Wedding Crashers. Meatloaf!
Yeah.
I don't know what she's doing in there. What is she doing? She's always doing something in there. What is she doing? It's like the hilarious fucking cameo. Will never be topped, right? So he recently came out and was talking about how, I guess he was doing an interview with a Hollywood Reporter, and he was talking about, basically he was offered $29 million to make an Elf sequel. And these are his exact words. I would have had to promote the movie from an honest place, which would have been like, oh no, it's not a good movie. I just couldn't turn down that much money. And I thought, can I actually say those words? I don't think I can. So I guess I can't do the movie. Yo, one of the most brutally honest things I've heard in quite some time. I am fucking here for it, dude. Because how honest are people sometimes? Like when you see a really good actor or actress in a very shitty movie, and you're just like, yo, I know you, and I just know, or look, I don't even know you, but I know you don't fuck with this shit. Like, I know you are above this. I know you are. You're better than this. And the person's just like, no, this is actually an interesting movie. You know, I found, and you're just like, this is all bullshit. You don't like anything about this.
Yeah.
Pretty much any movie Kristen Stewart's been a part. I'm joking. I don't know why I keep picking on Kristen Stewart, but I'm trying to think of like a movie that I remember an actor and actress in thinking that, yo, fam, you could not have been proud of this.
I mean, you look at some of the shit Eddie Murphy's done over the past few years. You know, fucking Pluto Nash.
But a lot of it is. But what's weird about that is a lot of it is like of his own making, is it not? Like, isn't he like a major instrument in whatever the product or
I think
is, like Norbert or
Norbit? Yeah,
Norbit,
I think what happens is he
stuff.
probably gets pitched these ideas, and he's like, okay, well, you know, I'll do it, but like, I got to be an executive producer on the project too. Yeah. So he gets like these additional titles and paychecks and whatnot, and my production company has to be a part of the production, but it's really just a money grab. It's like, oh, you want to pay me $20 million to do Norbit 2? Sure. But I feel like over time it hurts the perception of him, because we remember Eddie Murphy from like Beverly Hills Cop, his stand-ups, and like some of the early shit he's done. The movies he's done over the past 10 years has really hurt how we view Eddie Murphy in terms of like, you know, as an actor, right?
Maybe. I think he fought his way back with
there was Dolomite.
The Dolomite is his name. Yeah.
But again, that's like one project he did in the past 2 years that I can look at Eddie Murphy and say, all right, you did really good there. When I think about the past 10 years.
But I think that those movies are so forgettable that once you get one good one, you're just like, I don't give a fuck about those old
We'd
ones.
like to say they're forgettable, but I have not forgotten Norbit or Pluto Nash or any
I
of
have
that shit.
promptly forgotten everything about that movie. I don't remember. Or like Jake Gyllenhaal in Prince of Persia.
Oh,
right?
God. Yeah.
Yeah, that
fucking
was terrible.
Horrible.
That was horrible.
So this Will Ferrell story, this came to me because I recently watched the segment on Netflix. Great series on Netflix. It's called The Movies That Made Us, right? Mm-hmm. And they dive into all of these great movies from like the 90s and, you know, 80s, whatever the fuck the movie is. And they talk about like the story behind like how this thing came to be. And I had watched the segment on Elf. So it explained like about the person who wrote the film and how he tried to get it made, and pretty much everybody said no to him. One person said yes. That one person who said yes happened to know Will Ferrell, gave Will Ferrell a call. Will Ferrell said yes. That person was like, oh, you know what, I kind of maybe think Gene Hackman might be good for this. And they were like, and this is Gene Hackman coming off of Godfather, right? So like he's just very serious, and he was in what was that movie you mentioned earlier, Addy? Fucking The Good and the Dead, or The Quick and the Dead. Yeah, so like these very serious films Gene Hackman was coming off, and they're like, well, do you think we can get Gene Hackman to do this? And everybody's like, fuck no, Gene Hackman is going to do this. And then they call Gene Hackman like, hey, do you want to do this? And he's like, yeah. So like this like crazy
and by all accounts, look, can we get a consensus here? There's, and I'm sure I'm going to catch some flack, Addy, from some people in your household, but
what?
Elf is a classic, just not my favorite movie.
I very much agree with you.
Because watching it during the holiday season, you watch it and you're like, it's cool, but I think I might want to go do something else.
This movie is good for precisely a 2-week window in December between like just before Christmas, and then like it's good
immediately
up
thereafter
until New Year's. Once
is it good up until New Year's? It might just be Christmas Day. I'll give it to Christmas Day.
I think there's still that like, you know, that like there's still some like Christmas spirit in the air that maybe this movie is still good for towards the end of the year. But as soon as January 1st of the new year hits, fuck no, I'm not watching that shit. When Christmas rolls around,
but then again, it's Christmas every year, so even if it only has a 2-week replay value.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a 2-week
Elf and Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas" every year around this time it shoots back up,
slaps every year.
Good for them. That residual must be nice.
Yeah,
but so this movie got, again, I watched the Movies That Made Us segment, and I learned all the backstory behind this film. So when I saw this story, it made sense to me.
Yeah.
Because the first one, there was so much magic in how it happened. You're like, it is all of that as to why it works, right? And the magic that Zooey Deschanel brought to it, and like all of the things that weren't scripted that just made it work.
Yeah.
Elf 2 would have been very much scripted. It would have been very put together, and the magic that made Elf work probably wouldn't have. Now, 29 million.
Yeah, I don't know, Chief. But then again, you're Will Ferrell, so you've already got that in spades, right? Like
he's made it back, sure. He's made many more millions, but in the moment, at that point in time, the only thing he had really done was Night at the Roxbury and Saturday Night Live.
To that point, nah. I think we already had Anchorman at that point, right?
I don't think so. I think Elf is before Anchorman. I'm pretty sure
Elf?
when I was watching the making of Elf, he'd only really done Night at the Roxbury and Saturday Night Live appearances.
Okay, so Elf was 2003. What the fuck? Oh, Anchorman was like 2004. Anchorman. Yeah, Anchorman was 2004. When was Wedding Crash? Oh shit, Wedding Crash is like 2005.
Yeah.
Fuck,
yeah. So
that was really
it was
before,
Elf that really
when was
launched
Old School?
his career. Old School was definitely that's like when I was probably like 2007, 8.
No, it can't be that late. Old School.
Did you find it?
2003.
Old School came before.
Before Elf?
Yeah, because it would have been in 2003, and I'm assuming Elf came out like during the Christmas season.
But
so yeah, Old School came out.
Yes, you know what? You're right. Because in the documentary they speak to that, like how the character he played in Old School, that Frank the Tank was very different from this like Christmas spirit, oversized elf. So they did talk about that.
Yeah.
But anyway. It was just a crazy story. Turning down 29 million would have been very hard to do unless you really believed in yourself and your ability, which he did.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell is now who we know and love.
Yeah.
Now, this led into a really interesting conversation that I wanted to bring up, and we can go through this really quickly, about a bunch of, like, who are some other actors or actresses that have turned down big money, a lot of fucking money.
Well, I think the most obvious
Kyrie
one.
Irving amount of money.
I
to
think
not be in a certain movie.
I think it wasn't a movie, but I think the most obvious one is obviously Chappelle, right? So Chappelle turned down was it 50 mil? 50? In order to do sign a contract for, I guess it might have been even multiple seasons for the Chappelle show. Turn it down to go to Africa, which I guess in hindsight, honestly, kind of added to the mystique of the show. Obviously, it felt like it ended a little bit too early, but it's to me, it's made the show like endure. That we only get a certain amount of Chappelle show, and it's a fucking classic, and he's still able to do comedy shows and all this other shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big number. That's a big number. But I'm going to go through a quick list of 10 that a list of 10 that I was able to pull from an article. This is on like CBR.com. 10 actors who turned down enormous paydays. So at number 10, we got Leonardo DiCaprio, who turned down $21 million for The American Psycho. He went on
That's proper. He doesn't seem like he's like that was perfectly cast with Christian Bale.
With Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Yep. He went on to do some other movie where he was like out in like the jungle or something like that really wasn't that good. It's a movie Leonardo DiCaprio was in that nobody remembers. But he got Titanic. So John Travolta, he was initially offered the role of Forrest Gump. He turned that down.
That'd have been terrible.
Yeah,
that would have been god awful. What the fuck?
Yeah, that would have been bad.
Jesus Christ.
He what Tom Hanks eventually ended up walking away with was like a estimated $70 million plus box office profits plus
wait, so that was his base? Mm-hmm. 70 mil was Tom Hanks' base for Forrest Gump.
So I think in total, right. Like over the years, he's earned 70 million, but plus box office profits.
So how's it over the years? Like, what did he have? I'm so confused. All right, fair enough.
I have no idea. Like maybe like just like not box office, but like sales of like DVDs and VHS and T-shirts and memorabilia and all that stuff.
Fair enough.
And he got a Best Actor nod.
Yeah,
I don't know if he won Best Actor or not, but I think he did. But anyway, John Travolta went on to do Pulp Fiction, so I think he's okay. Matt Damon turned down the lead role in Avatar and a 10% stake in the film.
Yeah, that would have been strictly about money, because I don't think he really missed anything with if you want some sort of insight into that. Well, and shout out to Sergio. What's happening with Sam Worthington's career right now? Absolutely nothing. So
sure. Now,
and I say that with all due respect, right? He actually is still working in Hollywood, and he's doing decent work.
Now, I wonder what his contract was, because they offered Matt Damon a 10% stake in the film. Now, we know that this is a film that's grossed well over $1 billion. So if Matt Damon had accepted the lead role in the film plus that 10% stake, that would be an estimated $250 million right now.
Yeah, he might have fucked up. Yeah, he might have fucked that. Yeah, he might have fucked that one up.
He might have fucked up with that.
But I mean, look, he's got the Bourne series. He's fine.
Yeah, but you know what? If I'm Sam Worthington, I'm like, well, if I didn't get that 10% stake, I'm like, well, why didn't you guys offer me that?
Who's to say you didn't?
Well, I mean, yeah, we don't know. And this article doesn't call it out, but I don't think he did, because I feel like we'd know about that.
He would present himself a little bit differently if he would have got.
He'd be driving something different. He'd be like,
we don't even know what he drives. He'd be just driving something different. I don't know.
The new Camry. Camry.
All right, let's roll through these.
I'm gonna get the rest of these. So Will Smith missed out on $35 million for The Matrix. We talked about that earlier. Sean Connery wouldn't travel. So he wouldn't travel to play Gandalf, which would have paid him $30 million. Sean Connery?
No, I'm trying to imagine him as Gandalf. I don't know. I feel like we would have probably gotten kind of the same shit out of Sean Connery than we did Ian McKellen, right?
Ian McKellen, yep. Yeah. So Ian McKellen ultimately walked away with $60 million for that role, right? Number 5, Russell Crowe skipped out on $100 million to play Aragorn.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Another Lord of the Rings was paying.
That might have been perfect for him. I don't know.
I think he would have been very good in that. But we got Viggo Mortensen, who played that role phenomenally.
Who knocked it out of it. Yeah, he knocked it out.
Keanu Reeves dodged a bullet turning down Speed 2 for $12 million.
Yeah, that one.
That's not too bad.
Fine.
I mean,
and he's Tom Cruise.
He went on and did The Matrix. Yeah. So
wait, Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
No, no, Tom Cruise, right?
No. So Keanu Reeves was in Speed.
No, Tom Cruise turned down Speed, right? Wait, I'm so confused. What did you say?
No, wasn't Tom Cruise in Speed 2?
No, he was in No Speeds.
He wasn't in Speed 2? Well, it says Keanu Reeves turned down. Maybe this one might be wrong.
You're saying Keanu Reeves turned down Speed 2.
Yeah.
And he missed out on $12 million.
Yeah.
I don't know where the fuck I got Tom Cruise as. I think I just made that up.
Okay. Gotcha.
No, I don't think he missed that out. It's $12 million. He went on and did the fucking Matrix. He's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, he's super straight.
Yeah. And honestly, that movie's terrible. So,
yeah. Josh Hartnett thought it would be too risky to be in J.J. Abrams' Superman.
That probably would have been risky. That would have been risky, because then you get typecasted as the Superman.
Yeah.
Ask Brandon Roth or whatever the fuck his name is, how that's going.
Yeah, listen, Josh Hartnett has made a lot of bad decisions, because at number 2, he says Josh Hartnett does not regret not playing Batman for $45 million. Now, this would have been Batman. This would have been Christopher Nolan's Batman.
Yeah, he probably should have said yeah to that.
Yo.
I mean, we're all happy with the decision there, but yeah, he probably should have said yeah.
If you turn down Superman, maybe you don't turn down Batman.
Yeah. I feel like one of them. You got
Jesus. The fuck are you doing,
can't be
son?
offered both and then be like, nah. I see something else that might be better on the horizon. It's like, no, motherfucker. If you turn down one, you got to kind of say yes to the other.
Yeah. Last one here is Michael Keaton could have played Batman again for $15 million. This was in like the early 90s. I feel like
I don't blame him. He made the first 2 and he was like, look, I want to do some other shit. I don't want to be doing this. And especially with the direction that they headed in, it was kind of just like, right, let's just.
And he might be back. He might be back in the role. So.
Exactly. So I don't think he messed up or missed out at all. I think he's fine. Josh Hartnett might be the biggest.
Josh Hartnett,
he might have to go ahead and fire his agent for that one. That was that might not have been a great idea. All right, super quick before we leave, like 20-30 seconds on this. What is the Christmas movie that deserves a sequel that didn't get one? If we're talking about Elf, right? Didn't get Elf 2. What Christmas movie should have gotten one but didn't?
Yo, I'm gonna be honest. My list of Christmas movies is short. I just always
Christmas Story, the night before, not the night before Christmas. What's the one where the dude's like running and is screaming in the snow, black and white. It's a Wonderful Life.
Bro, I just pulled up a list of Christmas movies.
You already got one too many Home Alones.
Quick one. I'm gonna give you a fucking quick one. All of these look like they sucked. Yeah, dude.
Eddie, you got any?
I don't got any for you.
Absolutely nothing.
God damn it! Does nobody celebrate Christmas anymore?
No, probably my least favorite holiday.
Yeah, you said this multiple times. I don't know what's wrong with you. You guys are cold-hearted.
I find the fucking Christmas spirit. It makes me sick.
Yikes. Yeah, mine is probably going
Bad Santa. Well, they did make Bad Santa too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did make that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to say I want to see an updated A Christmas Story. See what Ralphie looks like when he gets a little older. Did he ever get that BB gun? Have you ever watched A Christmas Story?
I did, yeah.
Okay, because you look like you didn't know what the fuck I was talking about.
No, sorry. In my head, I was just thinking about, would I want to see that? No, he's probably just like a registered gun owner now.
Exactly.
Like,
I want to see the real shit when he gets older.
My rights as an American is to own a gun.
And I think it would make for a great
Sir, why
TV.
do you have 12 AR-15s? If someone breaks into your house,
if I would have just gotten a BB gun when I was 12 years old, I would not have wanted, these howitzers. But yeah, anyways, look, ladies and gentlemen, that's our fucking show. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this shit up. We probably went a little bit over time, but fuck it. It was great to have everybody back in the building. Hopefully we can keep this going. Everybody, do your leg exercises, your foot exercises to make sure that, we don't end up in this scenario again. But yeah, we will be back next week, same time, same place. And one of these days I will upload all these podcasts to the actual podcast mechanism to kick this out instead of just doing the live video. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, we will be on our way out of here.